Hi from Piero, Technical Director of SecPoint. I'm here with the new Penetrator 52 and I'm going to show you the main features of this new firmware. Let's start with the new scan profiles. When you start a new scan and you add a target, you have the list of available profiles in this list to the right of the target. In this list you can see now a number of new compliance profiles. Through these profiles you can perform scans that check for compliance with one of these international standards. When these compliance profiles are chosen, the scan is performed taking into account the special checks needed by each standard. The report is then created with an extra page which shows some information about the standard. More changes can be found in the Penetrator firewall. It is now possible to block incoming traffic from an IP or CIDR. This is especially helpful when the penetrator is on an IP exposed to the internet. To block incoming traffic from an IP address, select IP or CIDR, then enter the IP address in the entry field and click on the plus sign. The new firewall rule will be immediately active. To avoid any input mistakes, access to ports 80 and 443 are always allowed. The second improvement is in the 640 million IP block. This function has been improved with extra lists. Now the lists that will be blocked are Shodan, Census, Hosting and Pegasus. In addition to these, a SecPoint RBL has also been created. This list currently includes 1.5 million IP addresses. The exact number of blocked IPs in the SecPoint RBL is shown in the right side panel. All these lists are updated automatically once a day. The last improvement I'm going to talk about is in the email configuration. Occasionally the penetrator needs to send emails. This happens, for example, when a scan is complete and a notice must be sent to the administrator, possibly with the report scan attached. Up to the previous firmware, all mails were sent by the penetrator through its web server. This has been a common practice for years, but as the number of spam is growing all over the world and anti-spam filters are getting more and more sophisticated, sending a mail from a web server has become a deprecated practice, even with an authentication on an external SMTP server. The risk is that anti-spam engines detect emails sent from a web server as spam messages and report the sending IP address as a spammer to international RBLs. This can happen on a penetrator unit where the domain name has been left unchanged and the sending email address has been set to another domain, or even when the sender's email address is different from the authenticating user. To avoid any further problem, the whole email management has been changed and now the penetrator sends emails just like an email client would do. To do this, the penetrators must be configured with new email parameters. In this page, you must enter the parameters required to connect to your SMTP server with valid user credentials if required. After saving these parameters, to enable the new email system, you should send a test email to a valid recipient. If the parameters are correct and the mail could be sent, a success message will appear. As soon as installing firmware 52, these parameters must be configured immediately, otherwise the penetrator will not be able to send any more emails. To remind you this, a pop-up message will appear on the home page. For more details about all the enhancements of firmware 52, you can download the release notes document from our website. Thank you for watching this video and see you next time. Bye bye.